What's what's up, everybody? It's KJ. We have an action-packed episode for you tonight. We are bringing to you former Democrat out of Arizona at the rally for Kari Lake gives a savage rant against Kamala Harris. We're going to respond to that. We are also talking about the Olympics and the win by Imane Khelif. We're responding to that. Also bringing to you and responding about these abortion video, the tapes, the unreleased footage of the behind the scenes Planned Parenthood, them talking about mutilating babies. I mean, it's horrific. We are going to talk about that. And of course, we're talking about Kamala Harris finally answering questions. I guess you can call it that. We're bringing that to you and more next. Hello. It is Friday and it's time for Pop and Politics. We are talking about the latest in hot topics, news, and entertainment. I'm KJ. As you can see, it's a different lineup tonight. Many of the ladies are out, but we still want to come to you on this Friday night live. So I am joined by Blanca Tapajasco. She's been with us before. How's it going, Blanca?
It's going great. It's so good to see you.
Yes, it is so good to have you back with us tonight. And then first tonight, we are joined by Chaotic Truth Live. You guys may know him from his YouTube channel by the same name, Chaotic Truth Live, Conservative Talk. Check him out there. How's it going tonight, Chaotic Truth?
I'm awesome.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Blanca says it in Spanish, which sounds really cool. How do you say it, Blanca, in Spanish?
Verdad caótica.
Yes. All right. So again, we are going to get into all the hot topics tonight and more. As I always say, don't just comment tonight, subscribe. If you miss us here on YouTube, you can watch us on Rumble or listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the same name, Pop and Politics. Guys, we are an independent media, and if you want to support what we do, your super chats and donations go a long way in helping us produce conservative content. Any amount is appreciated. This is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that understand we are living in urgent times and there's a target on our backs, all because we choose freedom. But we must continue to stand. Let's stand together. Subscribe so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, everybody, let's set it off. We are going to get right into it tonight. I want to go to Kari Lake's event. Kari Lake had a fireful rant by a former Democrat at an event of hers in Arizona. Black woman, was Democrat for years, like many of us have been. Okay. And she is done. She is done with the Democrat Party. And I want to talk about why. I want you guys to take a look and hear why she's done. Let me see here. All right, I'm going to play this for you, and then I want to get you guys to react to this. There we go. All right, here we go. Take a look. Do I have? Sometimes my internet. Let me refresh. Okay, here we go.
I am a Democrat. Unlike Kamala Harris, I'm an actual real-life Black woman. And I'm a former Democrat who is currently registered Republican.
Wow.
I stand here before you today because I'm tired. I'm tired of the Democrats using the generational trauma of my people to garner votes. They invoke fear. They tell me I'm oppressed. They tell me I'm less than. They tell me I'm not good enough. And they tell me that my white brothers and sisters in Christ are my enemy. No. They are not. As a follower of Jesus Christ, Ephesians 5:11 tells me I must expose the works of the enemy. Amen. And the enemy is telling me that don't worry that I can't pay my bills, that I'm working 6 days a week this week and I'm tired. And I went to school and I have a career. I'm doing worse under this administration than in Donald Trump's administration, but I'm told to be afraid of a man who made my life better. Yep. How does that work? Yeah. Make it make sense. During COVID, I knew more of my white guy friends that lost their jobs than me and my black girlfriends. We are the same in this country. All these Americans want the same thing. We want safety. We want prosperity. We want peace. And the Democrats keep going back and look, check it out, right? I honor my ancestors and the people who fought for us to be in this room here today. No one is discounting what my people went through, but honor them by getting past it and invoking forgiveness in this culture.
All right, I want to stop it right there. Powerful response there and talk that she gave. I want to start with you, Blanco. What did you think about what she said as an immigrant here? You are an immigrant that came to this country, and she brought up a lot of good points. We all need to come together, and the Democrats seem to want to divide us. What are your thoughts there?
Yes, well, I wrote 2 notes that she said. They use fear. They use fear tactics, and they use fear tactics as a weapon to basically create an enemy when the enemy is actually they. They pit one against the other. I am proud to say it, I am a former Democrat as a Hispanic. I was a one-issue voter. She mentioned economics. She mentioned working 6 days a week. She mentioned that was better. She did not mention the non-issues. I tell people, let's focus and major on the majors and leave the minors to the leagues that they belong to. People are trying to just pay their bills. They're not concerned about the Kamala issues of the day. She speaks on terms that are not relatable because she's not experiencing what we are experiencing.
Absolutely. I want to get you in on this chaotic truth. What struck you in this speech that she gave?
Do you really want to know my opinion about it?
Oh, go ahead. Yes, of course. I want to know.
Her name is Jade, correct?
Right.
I don't know Jade. I don't know if she's an act. Does anybody know who this woman is?
No. We have a couple comments. Some people are saying they do know her from Arizona. This was my first time meeting her. Yeah, I mean hearing her.
Okay. I'm gonna be brutally honest here.
Go, yes.
I'm gonna ruffle some feathers here. I don't know this woman. I don't know if she's an actress. I don't know if this is a setup here.
Okay.
But I see a lot of individuals jumping ship, and we have to be very, very, and again, this is just my opinion. This is just my perspective. But we have to be very careful who we allow around us now. For all we know, she could be a mole. She could be someone who can cause all types of subterfuge if you allow her in. Now, this is the same woman just a few years ago that supported abortion. This is the same.
This woman or
Jay, I'm on. Well, that's what Democrats. She's a liberal, right? So right. Democrats are liberals.
Right.
I bet she was the same woman a few years ago that supported open borders. She's the same woman a few years ago that supported monies going to the Ukraine. How do we know she doesn't have those same feelings now? How do we really know what this woman is thinking? Now, I understand that you two were former Democrats, but you guys have proven yourselves. You guys have a resume, I would assume. You guys have a CV. She comes out of nowhere during election season. It probably would have been best if Kari Lake bought on someone a little bit different. But because of the last 4 years, because of the destabilization in this country, the defunding of the police narrative, the demoralization of the military, open borders to the point where we have about 40 million illegals in the country. The fact that this country is not respected as it once was, I'm not as forgiving anymore at this time. This is wartime now. You know, this is wartime. There are grown men in dresses who want to read to little kids. We know this. There is a demoralization in this country, and people just switching all of a sudden is not the best look. Now, you guys, your stories might be different. Blanca, you may have been a Democrat many years ago, but I can clearly see that you are a conservative woman. That woman right there, her appearance and everything lets me know, I don't know. I have my feelings about her. To me, I don't think that necessarily she's even a black woman, to be honest with you. That whole I'm a real black woman. Well, you know, you're lighter, and truth be told, Kamala she has more black features than you do, but I don't even want to get into that. But I on my, I gotta, I don't know how much time I have. I'm sorry.
Well, let me get you. I want to respond to that also. Okay. I want to get Blanca. I want you to. What were your thoughts there? Do you think he has some validity? Chaotic truth is valid.
I do. Now, the one thing I can say, when I have never heard this before, what she said, I have never, but I have heard the template. Okay, there's a template. There is and I'm not saying that she was reading off of somebody else's, but if she is recent, now I've been a Republican half of my life. I'm going to be 53. Okay, I have not just lived, and I'm not saying that it's not experienced. However, if she is kind of like a template kind of change, that means that she has the talking points. But like Chaotic Truth said, there has got to be an undergirding of what you have been doing. Yes, I'm glad. Look, the state senator in Northern California, she changed her party affiliation today. They're mad as anything at her. They're like, how can you betray your people? That okay. Now she's serious. She said, look, I lived all my life and I just don't see a change. I have to change the affiliation because I haven't changed. The party has revealed itself. That to me says this person is not jumping ship. She's actually, that's a state senator by the name of Alvarado. Today she changed and said that not she changed. There's a difference. Let me go back. There is a difference of changing the affiliation to align with the values that you can no longer tolerate being stomped on. And there's also a change in the person before the affiliation matches them.
Now, let me say this. So, I was one of these ones where when Amber Rose, came out at the RNC, I didn't like that. I didn't think they should have had her speaking there. I know Amber Rose from the hip hop community, not know her, but, I'm familiar with her. And I didn't see someone that would represent conservatism at the RNC, giving a speech at the RNC. I was against that. And she's saying now she's voting for Trump and so on and so forth. But in the same way, we do know that there is a spectrum, whether you like it or not, within the Republican Party. Just because you're Republican doesn't mean you're conservative. I am a conservative, basically biblically conservative. I'm a social conservative, physical conservative, but you have many people who claim the name of Republican who are not that. And they may be for the Constitution, but they don't believe that, they have no issue with transgenderism. They have no issue with, I don't know, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, she sounded like just from looking at and listening to her, she sounded, one, that she was nervous. And two, she did sound believable to me, only because some of the things she said, she was talking about her finances. She's seeing the repercussions of this economy under Biden and Harris. And when she said that, I was thinking, I know so many more people that have had to take on 2 and 3 jobs now within the last 3 to 4 years because this economy has gotten so bad, because their policies are so bad. So maybe that was something that woke her up. She may have some residual leftist, liberal, shortcomings, but sometimes it's a journey. Sometimes it's a journey. She said she did change her party. She changed to Republican. She did say that. So
Amber Rose also focused on what? Economics. This
right.
is one thing that I like when we speak to like-minded people, and it's not like-minded cookie cutter. I have to say yes, nod when you talk. No. But Amber Rose stuck with economics. Jade stuck with economics, and guess what? About half of the population is seeing that this has been crushing to them. I'm one who was working 4 jobs. I finally have weekends off because I have a full-time job now that pays me to get rid of 5 jobs, 7 days a week from December 2021 till just the 27th was my last day of working because it's crushing. They stuck with what's hurting. And that's where I believe that she is learning what it means to be, again, conservative. I do not even tell people I'm Republican anymore, not because I don't believe in that. I say conservative because as soon as you say Republican, it's they're like, okay, did you have your measles shot last week? They feel like that you're going to infect them.
Yeah. And before I want to stay with her, but I want to move to another portion of what she said that kind of made me think she was genuine. She talked about the issue with the racist thing. How the Democrats are continuing to push us, this race baiting. She did mention, I guess she is religious or a Bible believer, at least. She said the, biblical scripture. And she mentioned, that is not of God for us to be, race baiting and black, white, all this type of stuff like the left does. And I think, I honestly do believe that independent-minded people are starting to get tired of it. Tired of us being pitched, back and forth against each other based off of race. I wanted you guys to take a look at just last week, I believe, Joy Reid is once again pushing this whole race thing. Let me see here. Take a look at this. This is Joy Reid. Once again, she's still pushing. When they came out with Kamala Harris came out with her pick, and she was surprised that it was Tim Walz.
Got to be honest and keep it real. This is not the pick that I expected that she would make. It did come down to the final 3, as we understand it, and I thought she would go astronaut. Keeping it real, he to me would have been the safest, most conventionally safe pick. White, super white, like mayonnaise sandwich on Wonder Bread. From the, from a border state, he could have made a strong argument for her.
So here we have it again. These people idolize. It's idolatry on race, and I think people are starting to get tired of this. I'm like, what are your thoughts, Chaotic Truth?
Well, going back to Jay, I'm sorry, her name was Jade, correct?
Right.
So she did the very same thing as a newly minted Republican, I guess, that we would accuse the Dems of doing, using race. She brought up race. She said, I'm a real black woman. The whole idea as a Republican or a conservative is to identify first with, I would assume, nationalism. The Democrats definitely are race baiters, particularly Joy Reid. That's how they make their money. It's, racist for sale. Joy wouldn't have a show if she couldn't sell race every single day, despite the fact that she lives in all white communities, despite the fact that she went to Harvard, which is predominantly, I think she went to Harvard, if I'm not mistaken, all white. But if you are going to be a newly minted conservative or a newly minted Republican, the whole idea is to have a nationalistic identity first. So I never first say I'm a black man first. I always say I'm an American. So we have to critique ourselves, which conservatives, before we critique the Democrats as well, or liberals as well, because sometimes we have the very same talking points as they do sometimes. Mm-hmm. And you saw it with this young lady here. I'm a real black woman. But that's not my mom never talked like that. My mom is a conservative to this day. Never, I'm a, you know, all that sass, all that sassiness. No, that's what liberals do. At least in my opinion. But you know, hopefully that answers your question.
No, I see what you're saying. And again, I am one who does not like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of Republicans are responding to what the Democrats are pushing, and I got that from what she did. You know, I mean, I felt like she was responding to Kamala Harris's and the criticisms of her and the idea that the Democrats are always pushing this race button, and then she's saying, and I'm a real black woman. You know, I mean, it was, you know, it wasn't necessary, no, but I took it as she was responding to their race baiting. What are your thoughts there, Blanca?
Well, first of all, we know that Joy Reid did not get into Harvard apart from affirmative action. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing, because she even wrote an article, and somebody commented that she looks different each time. You know, I don't know, you know, now she's got a hat on and you know, and you know, the gall. Who is she to say, oh, we came down to the three? What was she in the conference when they, you know, narrowed it down to the three? This lady is just ridiculous. That is just it's just, I don't watch her show. I think I saw, the only time I didn't watch the show, I saw the interview was when Marilyn Mosby sat with her. Mm-hmm. That is when I, you know, and I listened not to learn something. I listened to see what would be, because of course the Mosby trial was going to be, the sentencing was going to occur, and I wanted to hear. I mean, this obviously, we're in Baltimore, so we know who Marilyn Mosby is. We know who Brandon Scott is. We know who the elected leaders are. And, you know, I think that we've given her, or I don't want to give her a lot of attention, but this is a lady who's angry. Okay, this is like the opposite of Verdad Caótica's mom. He said, you know, there's a composure. I mean, if this person is going to have influence over people, at least, you know, there's just something about her that says, I'm angry. Okay, this wasn't supposed to be what I came to a conclusion. In other words, things are not going to work out Joy Reid's way. This is not her mantle to pass on. I think that she also makes herself a lot bigger than she is, and that's a turnoff. I mean, this lady, look at the platform she has. And I'm not saying she should be Republican, but look at the platform she has. She could actually be promoting journalism. She could be promoting values that actually are economic entrepreneurship mindset for young people who want to. She just is a mess.
Well, she's a Marxist. She's a Marxist. And part of the Marxists, you know, we've talked about this many times on the show. Part of what they do, part of their job is to divide us by race, by class, because that goes into direct opposition of nationalism. So if we have some type of national pride, if we are devoted to our, you know, particular faith, then that takes us away from their goal, which is to divide and honestly push globalism, you know, in one new world order. Because again, nationalism, national pride, you know, belief in one God, that goes into also in direct opposition of one world order. This is why they push open borders. This is why they want to push open borders. They will not protect us, our sovereignty, because they want open borders, one world order. You know, if you have open borders, if you have all types of people coming in here illegally, then you divide them based off of race. We're no nation. It becomes one world. And then they will then in turn come in and divide us by class and by race. And this goes into the whole Marxist ideology. This is their hook, line, and sinker. They have to continue to divide us and push the race baiting and things like that. And this is why it is important for us to push back. And she kind of did, talking about, you know, we're all one. We're all in this together. White people are struggling. Black people are struggling. All of us are struggling under this inflationary economy. And I think that was an important part of what she said. Does she have some growth to do? Of course. You know, but I did the same thing. You know, what turned me, and I know you guys who watch us for so long, I was a Bernie Sanders supporter when he was running against Hillary Clinton. And what changed my outlook and started my conservative journey was the fact that I realized the Democrat Party had totally rigged the primary for Hillary Clinton. And I got disenfranchised because I was a Bernie supporter. And so when I realized that that's what they did, I got turned off by the whole thing. And I kind of got turned off of politics. And then one night I was sitting up late, and because I believed all Republicans were racist, and I got a program. Glenn Beck came on, and he was talking about the importance of Black history. And I said, "What?" I said, "What's he doing saying that? He's a racist. Why is he talking about Black Americans?" And I started watching his show, and I realized this is a God-fearing, intelligent man. He was putting out facts and figures. He put up that white chalkboard and he laid it out right in front of you plain. And that started me. And I just, from there on, I started just reading, Thomas Sowell and more of Glenn Beck's books. As you guys can see, I have his book right here, Dark Future, which I've read. And I read the first one, The Great Reset. So, I mean, but I didn't turn Republican overnight or conservative overnight. It did take some time, like a year or so. And, that was my kind of transition. I do hope this young lady has something similar and does the same thing. Any comments there before we move on from this? What do you have to say, Chaotic Truth?
Again, I look at it like this. It's all a game. I consider myself a conservative. I consider myself an institutional Christian. I don't want to live under, a Chinese hegemony. I don't want to live under an African hegemony. The Western civilization is the greatest civilization on the planet, and America is the greatest country. But we have to be very, very careful here. And in my opinion, understand that it's just my opinion.
Of course.
The world is a stage here. Now, had that been Simone Sanders, what would be the reaction of people? Simone Sanders is, right?
Right. Big lip.
Had that been Simone Sanders who switched over. She's not the most attractive. She's not a lot of people wouldn't. Oh, hell no. But and respectfully to your comment, to people in your chat, there's some people saying, well, give her a chance. Would you give Simone Sanders a chance? Would you give a purple-headed, dark-skinned female who's short and fat and stubby with purple hair a chance if she switched over? I don't think so. I think that even the Republicans are using the same gimmicks as many of the Democrats, their counterparts. They bring on this very attractive woman. She could appear to be Black or she could be whatever. But would they have bought on someone who looked like Precious? It wouldn't work. So we have to, I'm telling you, we do, even though people were saying, well, she might vote. Man, we have to be careful of how we operate because we're going to let too many people infiltrating in. And that's just my opinion on it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, you look at the Trump's rally in Atlanta. What was it? I think it was last week. He had a young lady on there with glasses. She was dark skinned and she was touting how much she loved Trump. They called her the Chick-fil-A girl. I can't.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Call her name. But I think within the Republican Party, conservatives come in all shapes and sizes and colors. Look at what were those, that twin duo?
I know you're talking about. Their sister died.
The Hodge twins?
No, not the Hodge twins. No, it's Diamond and Silk.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they weren't like, the most beautiful.
But people were less receptive of the Chick-fil-A girl. Even people called into my panel. They're quote unquote Republican now. They oh man, she's ghetto, she's this, she's that, she's that.
I was telling someone to say she was very annoying. She was too much for me.
But but Jade isn't annoying. Isn't that interesting?
Well, I
See?
will. No. Well, I only played a small snippet of Jade, but I will say when you listen to Jade and then you listen to that lady that was at the Trump rally last week, she was annoying. First of all, she got on there. I know you all came to see me and all this type of all that stuff was not unnecessary. It was unnecessary. She was too over the top. I mean, but but if she's conservative and she's, voting for Trump, welcome. But I mean, she wasn't like, I wouldn't want to listen to her at a rally. She wasn't the most, I was just telling someone, Shelly, she was very annoying to me.
But see, but my argument is, now here goes a girl who is who's Republican, pro-Trump. She got more backlash because she got on stage. She's very in my opinion, she lost her calling to be an actress. She's very funny, but she actually is a supporter. Right. Whereas this girl, just yesterday, she was probably at the abortion clinic. And now I'm just saying, they're saying, respectfully to your audience, there's a lot of people. Oh, give her a chance, man. Give her a chance. Well, how come we didn't give what's the Chick-fil-A girl a chance? And she's a supporter. No, I'm not saying that you don't. I'm not saying you don't, but I'm just saying there were people in the chat that I noticed that were saying give. Well, how come you're not giving Jade a chance? And I'm like, because we don't know her. But the Chick-fil-A girl, I support her. She's over the top, but that's just theatrics. But she was a supporter. She ran to Trump, hugged him, kissed him. Yeah. And so, I mean, this girl, I just think it's an aesthetic thing here, and I think that it's something that we have to really think about. Who are we really letting in? But that's, again, I don't want to.
No, yeah. I certainly understand exactly what you're saying there. I certainly do. Okay. You do have some validity there. Yeah, definitely. But again, this is going to be a very tight election.
Yes.
It's going to be very close. Someone I saw commented, we need it too big to rig. I certainly agree there. And we do not have the we don't have the preference to turn anybody away, honestly. I mean, if somebody is saying, that they're voting for Trump for whatever reason their issue is, or multiple issues, I'm saying welcome. Welcome. And then we can do the work as far as, talking about conservative values and so on and so forth after the election, honestly. And again, this is coming from me, who I'm not into the big tent thing. I'm not into us watering down the message in order to grow the party. That is not me at all. However, if I do hear someone who is speaking and talking, favorably about conservative values, wanting to do more and learn more, I give them the benefit of the doubt. I do. But we're moving right along to the next topic here. I want to get into the Olympics. So Imane Khelif won the women's gold medal at the Olympics. This has been under a lot of scrutiny because this person is, I don't know if you would say intersex. They have XY chromosomes. She has been, parents raised her as a girl. I guess she is a girl. She has some genetic issues, but she was in the women's event, women's boxing at the Olympics. And I want you guys to, first take a look at this person. One second here. This is Imane Khelif winning the accepting the win. All right. One second, let me refresh.
Olympic champion. Victorieuse au point par décision.
From Algeria.
Médaille d'or et championne olympique. medalist and Olympic.
So there you have it. Want to get your thoughts on this, Blanca, first. What do you think about this win?
I have never done more reading about the Morris syndrome in my life. Never. I've also have never been in a situation where I ever questioned who someone is as a competitor. That I have to admit first before I say anything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One thing that I really want to say right from this, I do not know what her genetic makeup or his genetic makeup or this person's medical condition is. So I want to make sure that is, and I just say that because so many people have come on, like, well, she has XY chromosomes and well, she has even, I mean, they even said the word, the reproductive organs of the woman. And I'm like, what, why do people, why are people going there? I mean, and I have 3 boys, and I'll tell you one thing, and then I'll pass it over, because I have 3 boys, and let me tell you, they physically look like that person. They sound like that person. Their broad shoulders and stature, even the mannerism. I also heard 2 videos. One when she was speaking to the press, briefly, about 45 seconds. Another one, about a minute and a half. And the voices were totally different. It's like if I actually just went like, oh, and now, that's, I just want to express my opinion on how I'm talking about different. So I do not know, because I am not her doctor, his doctor, the doctor. I'm not. But I believe that obviously there is I'm just saying, I have 3 sons. When it's the demeanor, the shape, the voice, the makeup, and I'm talking about the makeup of the actual physicality of it, of the body, not of it, excuse me. I don't mean it, a person, of the body. That's what I meant. It's just, I don't even know what to make of it. I don't know.
Well, there is a body, I believe the IOC, who has definitively determined and tested, because these people have to be tested when they're in these events, that both of these people, the Algerian Khelif and I believe Lin Yu Ting, I think it was from Taiwan. I can't remember.
Yes, Taiwan.
Taiwan. Yes. They both have XY chromosomes. In the past, they failed the genetic testing to be included in women's events, the women's boxing events. The only reason why they were included this year is because Olympics has gone woke and they have made a stipulation for transgenders, and so now they are included in this. In the past, they were not included. So, I mean, there is a difference. Now, specifically, there is a difference also between their medical issue, which is a DSD, a difference of sexual development, and trans. They actually were born this way, whereas transgenders suffer from a mental issue. But still, they're not women. They're not genetically women. As you mentioned, Blanca, the makeup is different. And again, we're talking about for this sporting event. Okay, a sporting event where physicality is involved and things like that. I believe they should have been disqualified. What are your thoughts there, Chaotic Truth?
There's a ancient comedy show that used to come on in the 90s. It was called Mad TV. And there was a character played by Alex Borstein. It was a character. She played a Korean woman. And her famous line was, "She looked like a man." I don't know if anybody remembers this, but I certainly do. This woman, allegedly, is clearly a man. Now, I got to go with Blanca on this one. I'm not her doctor. I don't know. But if she looks like a man, talks like a man, walks like one, more than likely it's a man. We've had so many scandals with the Olympics. The Olympics is just like any other institution on the planet. It is an institution with faults. First of all, the Olympics sucks. I've made so many. I made about 3 episodes about how I hate the Olympics. I think that the Olympics are nothing but a global a global cabal to sell you degeneracy. First of all, the introduction of all these weird sports. You got breakdancing now. I'm like, what? They're trying to promote diversity and inclusion in a bad way. So how do we not know, or how do we know that this woman was tested? How do we not know that this is just another ploy to, like you said earlier, introduce something at a global scale? Have you thinking about whether this is a man or a woman, and then eventually fighting to have actual men fighting women. Don't we already have that in the States here? No, so who's to say that the Olympics, which is a global institution, who's to say that this is not a part of some global scheme here to introduce men in women's sports at a global level?
Oh, I'm sure it is.
And that's what I'm saying here. These institutions can't trick me. The Olympics isn't a perfect institution. Clearly, we saw what they did about what they did with the Jesus Last Supper ceremony. Yeah. We could clearly see what these people are doing. They are selling us a product here. Mm-hmm. Now, what that product is, it's open for interpretation, but what it appears to be is degeneracy, anti-Christian values. They wouldn't have did something about Muhammad. I bet you they wouldn't have did an opening ceremony about that. They want to destroy one of the greatest, if not the greatest institution on the planet, which is Christianity. So who's to say that that's not a woman? Who's to say that? Who's to say that that's not a man? Excuse me. And then let's say it, we find out that it is a man or whatever. Well, they've already been promoting men and women sports now. So if you say something about it, you could get canceled.
Oh yeah.
Who are you to talk about it? There's nothing wrong with it, et cetera, et cetera. When many other countries start accepting this, it's over. So that's my take on it. So I don't know. I can't confirm it, but that looks like a dude to me. I wouldn't want to fight. A man or whatever? What's her name? Khelif, Imane. And look at the name, Imane. We got Lumpy Grits with the $5 super chat. Wish I could come on, but won't be free until Sundays and Mondays. I-Team Drive with wife Nikia. Thank you so much, Lumpy Grits. Positivity is definitely coming your way. Thank you so much for the super chat. Do you mind if I read this one? Deanna with the $10 super chat. If he or she knows that they are genetically different, that causes them to be strong enough to seriously hurt their competitor. They should not be in that sport. It's wrong on so many levels. Deanna, thank you so much for your super chat. Positivity is definitely coming your way. Happy Friday. But yeah, so again, I don't know. But what I do know is this. Look at the Western countries. Look at the EU. Why is the EU letting everybody into to the European Union countries? Look at the debauchery that's taking place in the EU. Who's to say? And I don't know who's over the governing body of the Olympics, but who's to say that you don't have far leftists all in the Olympics?
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you, who's to say that we don't? Who's to say that? Just tell the media that that's a woman. Who cares?
It's full of it. That is not even a question. We know that it's full of, like you mentioned, debauchery. It's full of perversion. It's one world order, which they're pushing. All of that is in it. And as you mentioned, it's Antichrist. This is the spirit of the Antichrist. It's opposite. They want to do everything in the inverse. So, again, we have they're trying to normalize the idea of men looking like women and women looking like men, androgyny. All of this, it goes against God's design. It's the Antichrist. And we know this. And so, it's very good for us to call it out. We must continue to call it out. It's unfortunate that so many don't. You know, I had Christians on my social media, pastors out here saying there was nothing wrong with the opening ceremony. And there are so many religions. And if we didn't like it, then it wasn't for us. I had pastors saying this. Pastors were saying this about the opening ceremony. And they say the same thing about this Khelif. You know, they say, you know, they were posting Khelif's childhood photos. And, you know, she was, you know, dressed as a girl and things like this, which I understand there is a difference between trans and, you know, a genetic issue that she has, or he has, whatever you want to call it. But to me, it shouldn't, they have their own separate category, or, you know, what, they should not be in events with biological women. We should not change our whole events, the whole ceremony, whatever you want to call it, for an aberration. You know, it just is what it is. That's my thoughts on it.
May I also add that I found it, I did not watch the Olympics. My husband was like, "Oh, do you want to watch the Olympics?" I said, "No." And he's like, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I'm not watching it." And not watching it. The swimming, nope, not watching it. And he didn't see the opening. Okay, so he doesn't even know about this. He's like, "Oh, let's just watch a little bit of the swimming and the running." Okay, I'm not watching it. I just said, I'm going upstairs. And so he knew that, you know, he knew that something was bothering me, but I wasn't going to get into it. But one thing that I did see, and that was on a replay, because I sent you a video about the voice, how the voice was so different. And that is Algerian women, and even just the culture of Algeria, just even the culture. Not talking about what the person looks like, how the jawline, nothing. But I found it very odd that the hair was worn in that way when one of the coaches has the head covering. Okay. And to me, I thought, you know, I see working in public schools, tutoring in public schools, being in a community that is definitely very diverse from all over the globe, that there is a certain a woman usually is going to wear a covering, because even the coach was wearing a covering. She was inside of the rink, kind of like patting the person. And I'm just going to say the person, because I do not know. Patting the person, you know, kind of like, you know, to go on. And then another coach, you know, kind of almost slapped the boxer, you know, like maybe like, you know, just, you know, like, oh, you're going to be tough, you know. But all I know is that physicality, that way that the body looks. I mean, even our hip bone is different than the man.
Yeah,
it's different.
It certainly is.
I'll leave it with that, with the head. I'm not saying that the head should be covered. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is North Africa, Algeria, the culture, women, how they wear their hair, so I took note of that.
Well, and we need to take note also that this is the way they're pushing this as far as sexuality too, because they want androgyny. And I've talked about this on the show before. You know, this push towards androgyny is because we are coming towards a time when they want to mesh machine and human. And so if you combine robot, if you combine AI and human, it's not male, it's not female, it's androgyny. So you can't continue to use these gender specific names, because they want us androgynous. So, and then we can go ahead and start with the fusion of machine and human. Guys, this is what's coming down the line. And that is why this election is so important, because if the Democrats win, they will use this as a mandate to push forward everything under the sun you can think of. Our country, even though it has really changed, it will be beyond anything that we have ever seen. And if you have children, get on your knees now and pray every night, because they are in for something that like the likes we have never seen before. I do want to acknowledge another super chatter here, guys. Definitely want to do that. Lumpy Grits says, how's my favorite Be More folks doing? I kind of stumped my wife when I told her that the Dems turned the black vote into today's colored water fountain. Took her a minute, but she figured it out. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lumpy Grits, for your super chat. All right. So there it is. I want to move on here because we have so much to cover tonight. I want to kind of go back to Kamala Harris. So as you guys know, she actually recently finally came out and did I won't even call it a press conference. It was a talk to the press while on the tarmac. I don't know if it was yesterday or today, but we were going on 20 days since she was, I won't even say elected, since she was pushed forward by the elites in the Democrat Party to represent them as for president. 20 days. No, she has not taken any questions from the press. She has not done any interviews. And finally, she did this quick interview, which was not even a real interview. I want you guys to take a look here. I have it.
President Trump had a press conference today. He talked about a lot of things. I wonder if you have a reaction to what he's talking about.
Well, I'm glad that he's finally agreed to a debate on September 10th. I'm looking forward to it, and hope he shows up.
Are you open to more debates?
I am happy to have that conversation about an additional debate for after September 10th, for sure.
He proposed two more debates.
Like I said, happy to have that conversation.
Why do you think he pulled out of the debate with you? Why do you think
I am beyond trying to speculate about how he thinks. What
Well,
else?
Can you comment on some of his other criticisms? He made a whole litany of them today. Some of them are about your...
I was too busy talking to voters. I didn't hear them.
Some of the criticism has been about your vice presidential pick and his leaving the National Guard at 24 years. Vance said that he deserted his own troops or his own colleagues. What's your take on that?
Listen, I praise anyone who has presented themselves to serve our country. And I think that we all should.
Madam Vice President, there's been a lot of questions about when you're going to sit down for your first interview since being the nominee. Do you have any update on that?
I've talked to my team. I want us to get an interview scheduled before the end of the month.
Thank you.
What do you make about the attack on your husband's face?
Thank you so much.
My goodness.
Okay. 70 seconds. 70 seconds, 20 days since she announced. Hasn't spoken to anyone. 70 seconds, and they ask her the dumbest questions. Nothing of substance. I will start with you, Chaotic Truth.
You ever had a dream and it was the cops knock on your door or something similar? Somebody knock, the cops knock on your door and they say, "We found the body." And that's it. You caught. And then you don't know you are in a dream. And you say, "Oh my God, they found the body." I did that many years ago, but they found me. They found it. How did they find me? How can I get out of the situation? And, you wake up. And that was the easiest way to escape a nightmare. All I had to do was just wake up. Oh, that was a bad dream. Damn, I'm free. Oh man. This is a nightmare that we are not waking up from. We have an idiot that might possibly become the United States president. First of all, she shouldn't be there in the first place. I don't think women should ever be the president of the United States. I'm just going to be blatant with you. I don't think women should ever be in that leadership position. Now, the founders never said that women couldn't be president. But I don't think that women should be president for a multiplicity of reasons, right? Now, to simply just address her being on the tarmac. For people who don't know, the silly woman was in the car, the limo, for 30-something minutes, preparing for what? What was she preparing for? Nothing. She was preparing for nothing. 70 seconds. You called it. 70 seconds. She was preparing for nothing. You know what she was doing in that limo? And I did many videos on this, and I showed so many clips of this. She was drinking. We have an alcoholic that might be president. There are so many clips of her drunk, daisy-eyed. I would even argue she's probably smoking weed. Now, she's known for her word salads. Tell me I'm lying.
Yeah, you're right.
She's known for what has been, what has become. That little stupid statement. She's an alcoholic. Her brain is probably more than fried. Other than being an attorney, I don't think that this woman really knows anything. And I keep saying this, and you know, I don't want to lose your female audience here, but I gotta say this, man. A lot of women aren't really into a multiplicity of different things compared to men. Men have to be. So here goes my thing. Do you think that this woman has the ability to be the commander-in-chief of the military? How could she be the commander-in-chief of the military? How many women can tell you about NORAD? How many women can tell you about defense? How many women can tell you about? I'm not saying that women can't do it, but these are things that men are generally into. I'm not saying that women aren't, but this is a position that takes a level of high level intellect and critical thinking and observation. She's not going to have the respect of the military. First of all, the military is already demoralized anyway. She's not going to have the respect of local law enforcement. She's not going to have the respect. She already wants to usurp the Supreme Court. That's what Biden literally said a few weeks ago. We're going to reform the courts. So this lady, I'm telling you, this is a coup d'etat that has happened on American soil. This is a coup to install an idiot. And not saying that because she's a woman, she's an idiot, but to install an idiot in office so that the powers that be can do whatever they want to do with this country through nefarious means. The woman I've challenged my own people on my channel, all these liberals that call in. Show me a video where this woman sounds coherent. Show it to me. Show it. You can email it to me. Show me the videos of this woman down at the border, because supposedly she was the border guard. Show it to me. Show me a video of this woman when she's not kicking it with college kids at the goddamn. See, there I go.
No, I agree.
Show me a video of this woman not doing. I'm about to land the plane real quick because I get fired up when I think about this cackling woman. Winners can party, right? Losers don't party. Losers should never party. What are you having a hip hop party for at the vice president's mansion? What are you having a hip hop party for? Are you winning? Are you doing your job? What are you having black college students coming to the governor's? I mean the vice president's mansion for, kicking it with sororities and fraternities. Oh, I'm an AKA and blah blah blah. And what are you talking about? You should be more concerned with the economy and this inflation. A loaf of bread costs $50,000 now. You should be more concerned with, hey, we need to bring manufacturing jobs back to America. Hey, we have a problem with recruitment in the military. But what does she do? She's kicking it. And I can't stand that woman. And then here goes another thing. And I'm not here to bash women. God knows I'm not. The cackling and the laughing and just imagine 4 years of hearing this, man. I'm telling you, this is going to be so bad having this woman in office. And I'm going to land a plane on this one. Historically, presidents have been tall. It's an unwritten rule amongst men. Hey, I'm a short guy, right? I'm not saying all tall men are honorable and mighty, but there is an appearance with that.
Of course.
Why in the hell, or who in the hell is gonna, and no disrespect to anybody who's short, I mean women, but this woman's 5'3", 5 foot, I think 5'3". Can you imagine how that's gonna look on a real scale for the first time? This short little woman walking into a room. Can you imagine Xi Jinping, who's 6 foot? Can you imagine other real leaders looking at this and seeing how? First of all, we had a senile president who didn't know what year he was in half the time. Now you're gonna have this midget, no offense, as the president. It's a nightmare. I can't believe I'm living in. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love this country, But this seems to be some sort of nightmare that I have not waken up from. I wish I could wake up and say, oh, that was the easiest way to escape this nightmare. But I'm not. Every day I wake up and I think that this is a nightmare and that people will vote for her.
Yeah.
70 seconds. 70 seconds. Sorry, please, ladies in the chat, please don't unsubscribe. I'm not here to bash women.
No, I think a lot of, believe it or not, I think a good portion of women agree with you. You know, we don't necessarily want a woman as president, and especially of all women. I certainly don't want her as president. Yeah, Blanca, I have to get you in here. Again, no substance answer questions. We didn't hear about inflation. We didn't hear about the border, and she certainly didn't give any great answers. What are your thoughts?
Well, this is again another angry woman, and it doesn't matter her color, it doesn't matter her heritage, doesn't matter that her parents are from India. It does not matter. Actually, she is more concerned about her company than the economy. Mm-hmm. She really is. I understand that she invited Hispanics at the vice president residence. Somebody I know was there. And he told me that she was like, you're in my house. I can't believe that you're in my home. You're in my house. This is my home. I said, really? And he was there and told me. And he was almost about to say, can I see the deed on this house? Whose name is on it? She literally just, and her husband was there. And he was like, like jumpy. He's scared. He's scared. He's scared. He is not someone who, someone say, hello, nice to meet you. He was like, hi. Why? Because I agree, in certain circles, this is a panel, this is a conversation, we are sharing. We have audience that is engaging in this, but there are certain things that truly a liberal woman will decimate this country. This woman is ready to crush, and unfortunately too many are still believing that if a person is a woman, let's give her a chance. I think in that, we were talking about giving people a chance with Jade, but I think here they literally are saying, I am willing to put my life in this person's hand because I trust her. And that trust is because looks like me, talks like me, has a background like me. And I'll be honest with you, and I don't care if I lose my job saying this. I really don't. But there is a reason why she does not have children. There is a reason why she doesn't have children. And I'll tell you, a woman that does not have children when she's married, unless there's something that I just find that is very disturbing. This is a selfish, and she is Kamala Lawlessness. That's what I call her. Kamala Lawlessness. That is what I call her.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with you 100% on that. Specifically on the lack of children. Honestly, I didn't know she didn't have children until recently. I thought that daughter of hers was her biological daughter. But I agree. I have always said, again, I'm not talking about anyone with medical issues or things like that. But me, myself, I remember before having children, how I was. You don't think about other people. You think about yourself first. There is a selfishness there. Children soften you. And they do make you sort of think about other things. And not only that, you understand that you have a stake in what happens to the future because you have someone there that's going to be here, and you want to make this place a better place. And so, the fact that she doesn't have children, it is alarming to me as well. And but we know who's pushing behind her. The same people who are leading the Black community, the same people who are leading Black churches. It's Black women. It's Black women. And we see what has happened to the Black community with that, don't we? Single mothers are at the forefront and heads of many of these households, and our households and communities are failing. They are not thriving. And now we're going to do instead of bringing daddy back to the White House, President Trump, we're trying to we're going to become a single mother nation. Okay? And bring in this cackling, lying woman. And we're going to see how our country will go down a road. And I don't even know if we'll be able to come back. So, and I'm not trying to offend anyone there, but again, I don't agree. I agree with you, Chaotic Truth. I don't think a woman should lead this nation as well, either. I really don't. And we've seen that in our communities. We don't have male pastors. You can't find, these churches are full of women now. They're leading all types of ministries. They're leading the churches. We got all these female teachers. And we see what they're doing to the schools, sexualizing the children. Some of them sleeping with the children. I mean, it's a mess. It is a mess. And now we're going to bring that to the whole country. Doomed. So there we have it there. But again, 20 days. She hasn't taken any questions. Now they have this debate coming up. So they do have a debate coming up. I believe it's September 10th, I want to say.
Yes, it's my birthday, and that would be the greatest. Yes, I cannot wait to see Donald Trump on my birthday. My birthday. Maybe I'll rent a place. My 53rd for the 47th. Ooh, I like that. Yes, September 10th.
I'll be there.
But there may be one September 4th, I understand. I believe September 4th. But 70 seconds. We haven't heard in almost 3 weeks. And then she said a press conference will set something up by the end of the month. There's still 20 days. There's still 20 days before the end of the month.
Right.
And I until I have to say it, verdad caótica. I love it. I love it in Spanish. Until verdad caótica. Until he said about the drinking, now that because I don't examine body language, I'm not an expert, but a lot of people do isolate, and they kind of just they're kind of almost cruising, like floating, and I believe that there is something there, because alcoholics, I don't know what kind of pain she's trying to numb or anything, but I truly believe that is, I would say, I believe that 91% right now, that I believe that she has a problem with substance abuse. I really do. I really do.
I want to ask you, Chaotic Truth, because we see, it's been 20 days. She has not taken, any significant questions from the press. She hasn't done any interviews. Do you think the American people are going to go for this? Will they continue to support her, and she has failed to bring about her stance on issues? She hasn't even put anything on her website. She's just asking for money. What are your thoughts there?
Before I give my thoughts, we got a $5 super chat. Shout out to Lap with the $5 super chat. USA soys versus real masculinity, soy boys, were in trouble. You have to have males to control other males. Oh, keep it real. Keep it real. You gotta have I'm telling you, man. Women, I'm not trying to bash, but you gotta have a man to lay down the law. But thank you so much, Lap, with the $5 super chat. Shout out to you. To answer your question, no. The average American is a damn idiot. The average American, 80, what was it? How many votes did Biden supposedly get, or allegedly get? Was it 80 million?
I was 7. Yeah.
Let's assume that there was no fraudulent activity taking place, and 81 million people really did. Well, that just lets me know that 81 million people are dumb. And it also means that a lot of other people didn't even vote. When I am out and about, this is what people are doing all day long. Mm-hmm. Playing Candy Crush. Candy Crush! Can you imagine this? Adults, grown damn adults playing Candy Crush. Playing stupid games, looking at stupid videos on TikTok. You ask the average American, hey, what's the First Amendment? I bet the average American doesn't even know what the First Amendment is. I bet you the average American can't even name one of the founders. One of the founders. The average American is not into politics, to believe it or not. And it seems this way because you guys are in a political spectrum. It does seem this way, right?
Yeah.
It seems this way, but the average American could care less. So when it comes to going out to vote, they don't care that Kamala hasn't given a speech in 20 days. They don't care. The average, hey, walk down the street. Hey, average American, do you care if Kamala's giving a speech? Man, what? They don't even have an answer for you. And
care if she's dancing and they're dancing and they have what's his name?
Meg the Stallion.
Yeah.
And so there was a female, conservative female, I forgot her name. She's a Hispanic girl. What's her name? I think her name is Siwa. I can't remember her name. She was at Kamala's event. Now she has no reason to lie. She said right after Meg the Stallion got done performing in her little whorish dance, and after that the Quavo got done talking, they said that people only stayed about 2 or 3 minutes for Kamala's speech, and a lot of people were leaving. That just goes to show you right there what people care about in this country. Right. And it goes to show you. So to answer your question, no, the average American could care less. She could go up into the election without talking, and she will still get a certain level of votes because the average American, she a black woman, she a Democrat, I'm gonna go vote. That's the only time that they care about politics. Other than that, the average American don't care about no policies. They don't. Hey, average American, can you give me a recent? Can you give me any policy? Yeah, nobody know anything in this country, to be honest with you. And this is why I say it's important to become a nationalist. A nationalist will at least look things up. Mm-hmm. Hey, I want to know what this policy is. I want to. We got Deanna with the $5 super chat. Surprising statistic. Thank you so much, Deanna. Salute to you. Says 10 million gun owners are not even registered to vote. Oh, I didn't even know that. But salute to you, Deanna, for that fact. Thank you so much. The average American. I'm gonna land the plane. I know I'm talking too much. The average American don't care. But that's why it's important to become a nationalist. You become a nationalist, you start caring about policies, because you understand that policies affect you. I, for example, love Donald Trump's project Agenda 47. I hope that when he becomes president, he implements it. I actually like Project 2025. Now, I don't know whether he's going to implement that or not, but that will bring back the family structure because it focuses on the nuclear family. See, there's a lot of policies that I do like, but ask your average American, hey, well, do you know this about policy? Do you know this? They don't know.
No.
They don't care. They're too busy playing. Go ahead, play your Candy Crush. Go ahead about your day.
I want to share with you guys this video of Ben Carson talking about this election, and I want to get your reaction to this, Blanca. Let's see here. All right, here we are. Take a look here.
The king said the color wasn't the issue. I thought it was the content of our character.
You think that she can win?
Absolutely, she can win. This is going to be a great test of the power of the media to take someone who formerly was universally disliked and transform them into a godlike figure. And they will use everything that they have to try to do that. The question is, are the American people smart enough to see through it? And I actually think the American people are smarter than anybody gives them credit for. And I don't think that they are going to be willing to sacrifice what we have in this country, which is what everybody else wants, even though they try to denigrate our country, say we're systemically racist, we're unfair to people. If we were all that bad, why are all these people trying to get in here? And why aren't people trying to get out of here? So we know that we have something that's very good. And I think the American...
Do you think that she can win?
All right. So again, that was Ben Carson talking about how the media is manipulating people and hiding the truth and the facts. What are your thoughts on there, Blanca?
Well, first, this is my son's doctor, everybody. So Dr. Ben Carson is very dear to me, very dear to me. I got to see him at the end of June. He operated on my 1 pound baby, who is now 17. He will ever be a great man, a wonderful leader, a father. I don't know if some of you know, but he lost his twins when he was married just a few years with Mrs. Carson. They lost a set of twins. I believe that is very painful still. I know that I know what it is to lose a baby. I lost one as well. And this is a man who, I saw that, by the way. And yes, it's possible that he could win. Why? Because the media has used every opportunity to blind many. I call it the mob syndrome. The mob syndrome is the media. The media has a tactic, it's to blind, and the media is taking the opportunity to do that. So the media takes the opportunity to blind many, and the media is very emotional based. Somebody commented how the emotions are high now. The emotions are, this is like Obama. This is like a speaker. This is the likeness. And then let's talk about just the likeness. So if something is like something else, then I can depend solely, really have no, almost, I don't have to think. I don't have to do. I don't have to work. I don't have to even strive anymore. I'm 52. So prior to, and I'd say that again because I hear from Blacks the struggle to get the civil rights, but I don't see those anymore to defend what people fought for. And I'll be damned if I'm not going to do my part. My children are now registered to vote. My husband is now a U.S. citizen. And this household minus one, we're going to be voting together. And I am sad to hear from so many people that I will vote only because that person appeals to me, as opposed to that person has both policy, has both a grit. He have to have grit to do this. But the media is, I don't even watch media anymore. I used to watch David Muir here and there, but you can't believe the crap anymore because they're snippets of life. And then they go on to the next. And it's like, that's just reporting. That's just what, but nothing gets to the bone and marrow of our life, like policies crushing you. And so he is right. I believe that, I'll be honest, they're going to cheat, they're going to steal, and they're going to kill to try to overcome and not have the people's voice be counted. That I know.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the perfect segue into our next and final topic. Speaking of kill, this newly released footage of Planned Parenthood discussing the process of harvesting aborted baby parts. And Kamala Harris was involved in this. She actually was, she won. She was able to suppress this footage from coming out. But a court injunction stemming from California Attorney General turned Vice President Kamala Harris, this is back, I believe, in 2015. Prosecution of Dowden previously blocked the release of the footage, but thanks to a congressional subpoena and Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, MTG, Dowden was finally permitted to post hours of footage allegedly exposing Planned Parenthood's gruesome practices nearly a decade after it was collected. I have a small snippet of what took place here, and I wanted to share this with you all. We must share this. We just talks about how the media has suppressed and they misinform and they lie about so much stuff. It's no more media, it's propaganda for the Democrat Party. We must share things like this. And this is why it's so important, as I said at the top of the hour, for you guys to support broadcasts like ours, because they're trying to shut us down. They try to shut us down, and we must continue to gather as a community of conservatives, of America-loving people, faith people, and continue to share this information because it's being suppressed. It is being suppressed. Here we have some of this footage I want to share with you. Take a look here.
We've been working with them. Yeah.
Here we are.
6 months or a year ago, you told me about the proposition. And so now every time I join D&D, I'm like, oh, that's long.
Yeah, you already know.
I'm like, yeah, I have like a leg for you. I'm like, oh shit. Other people were to hear me, they're like, you're evil.
Now you hear them talking. I want to stop it here. A leg, a lung, but in the propaganda videos that they post, it's just a clump of cells. But under cover footage, you hear what they're telling what it is that they're doing. I want to continue. Tram win.
I'm the technician for biomass.
So we've been working with them. Missy and I have been talking to them about tissue collection and all this other stuff. Middleman. Well, sorry to put you like that.
I don't mind. You know what?
So you'll be seeing
The director of abortion services.
So you'll be meeting. So you know how you met Paul?
Yes.
Anne is actually the one that's in my clinic 3.5 days out of the week.
Okay, so we'll definitely see each other.
So you
the one who's in charge. Like Paul is the overall medical director of the entire affiliate, but
Okay.
So it's enough for you.
I like tissues.
we have a lot of it.
Okay.
See?
Okay, so more for me to
She's-
keep me busy, because you know if
so-
I'm not busy, I get in trouble.
So I have 2 providers who go up to 24 weeks, and Anne is one of the providers. And I'm so sorry. I met the other provider that goes up to 24 weeks, which is Anitra Beasley. And Anne is the other provider that goes up to 24 weeks as well. So if you want more intact ones, she's the one you kind of need to talk to.
You don't want to see, huh?
I had a patient,
Yeah,
sometime in the past few months, I don't remember what it was. She wanted footprints, and I had a resident with me that day, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this procedure because I'm gonna try and do my best to get these feet out into.
Right.
we did footprints and handprints, baby.
Dude, you guys are awesome. Well done.
Yeah. But they need like the liver mostly and the
Right now, we're getting a lot for liver and thymus. Liver is in short demand. Dude, like, there's people right now, most of the people, like ABRs, there was some of our competitors, they're not even selling the tissue. They're like, oh, right now, it and sell you the vials rather than give you the entire tissue. And I'm just like, are you serious?
It's funny because ever since, I think I remember, it was like 6 months or a year ago, you told me about the proposition. And so now every time I join D&D, I'm like, oh, there's some long.
Yeah, you already know, huh?
I'm telling you.
No, I'm excited.
You told me about the proposition. And so now every time I join D&D, I'm like, oh, there's some long.
Yeah, you already know, huh?
I was like, where is where's my guy who can play with the tissue? I was like, is there like trying to sort of, and I was like, I'm like picking up, they're like, well, can you show us a sample from today? And I was like, is this a really bad day?
I remember you mentioned that.
So, I mean, it goes on. I don't know if, oh, here. Oh, yeah. They talk about the arms disarticulated, dismembered.
Other days it's like more intact, where it's like maybe only like an arm that's disarticulated.
Most weeks, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So there we have it. Again, this is just a clump of cells. So what are they talking about, right? I want to get you in on this, Blanca, first. What are your thoughts on this? And again, Kamala Harris tried to see, she actually was successful in suppressing this. And again, because of Marjorie Taylor Greene, it was released.
Well, first, to quote what Tyrus said last night, Tyrus is a former professional wrestler. That's his stage name. And he said that if it was planned, then you would never need to go to Planned Parenthood. I call it pro-parenthood. I refuse to call that evil place planned, because death is what's planned there. There is absolutely no choice. And I say this as a former Democrat, that was my choice. My one voting, that was the one issue that I was like, never had one, never knew anyone personally that did, would not say that somebody shouldn't but under any circumstance. That's not where I lie in that. However, this is a money-making business out of innocent people. I also know a Black lady shared with me that her doctor would give her an abortion and would treat it as a birth control measure. She had already had several. And we got into a conversation among a group, and we were like, we're concerned about what your body is going to go through with this. We really are. Well, I mean, I'm just following what my doctor said, and to me, it's just horrific how millions of people have died because this Dr. Anshoot and this Tram Gwen, and they could care less about it. I mean, mocking creation by saying, I got the footprints. Oh, I got the handprints. Oh, I can see this. That is Satan saying, I will destroy see, God's fingerprint is on each of us who are listening right now, who are on this panel. God's fingerprint is on us. We don't put our fingerprint to prove there's a God. God put his fingerprint on us to prove who he is. Not just that. It's just appalling. And the only comment I have is that I do not call them what their name is. I call it pro-parenthood, because that is exactly what they promote. They do more damage to Blacks, women, the human race, than even Hitler did.
Yeah, I want to get you in on this chaotic truth. What are your thoughts after seeing that?
How much time do I have?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. We're at the end of the show, but
you see this in my hand right here?
Mm-hmm.
You know what this is?
Cell phone.
It's an iPhone. Mm-hmm. We are all a part of the same hypocrisy. You know how this iPhone is made? From the manufacturing process, it all ties back into that video, right? Mm-hmm. You know how this at the manufacturing process, from the lowest scale to the finished product. Little boys and girls, artisanal miners in the Democratic Republic of Congo, they work in hazardous conditions to extract a mineral called cobalt. Cobalt is in every single iPhone. And truth be told, it's in the majority of all your technological devices. Then a little bit up the manufacturing process over in China, where these phones are finished, you have an ethnic group called the Uyghurs and other groups, minority groups, that are working for damn near nothing, slave labor conditions sometimes, to put this phone together. Now, conservatives, Republicans, now going back to this, now you see me, right? Now, you could argue, or I could argue, slavery's wrong, right? But is slavery wrong? I'm participating in the slave market right now with this phone. And if somebody were to tell me to smash it against the ground, I probably wouldn't do it. Right? We all are supporting Planned Parenthood to a degree. Most people will get mad at Planned Parenthood. But where are they selling those body parts to? Nobody really knows, right? The average person doesn't know. But those body parts go to research institutions, universities, hospitals, research facilities, right? The researchers at these institutions use the tissue to study diseases, testing treatments, and advancing medical knowledge. Now, somebody could say, well, shit, maybe this is novel, right? A lot of people don't know that a lot of those limbs go to biotech and pharmaceutical companies. You know, these companies, they acquire human tissue samples for research and development purposes as well. That helps out mankind. Now, this phone helps out mankind, right? Phone is easy. It's made our lives better, right? But at the end of the day, it was made by pretty much slave labor, right? So the same thing with our medicine and other treatments. It was all made by the very same thing that we think is evil right now. So it's a conundrum here, right? It's a conundrum. We could look at those goofy girls and be mad at them all day. But what we are really witnessing is something very complex here, because are we willing to boycott and protest major research universities? I'm talking about conservatives and Republicans. Are we willing to boycott all these major pharmaceutical companies that all of us benefit? You know, we all generally benefit, especially older people, these medicines, etc., all this research, etc., all because all because the science is using limbs from aborted babies. So are we willing to really get to the nitty-gritty of it? Or are we going to take the easy way out and just be mad at the building in the inner city? Because it's something that it's far more complex. It's far more complex. You know?
So what happened? I mean, we see now that there's many more abortions since when it first was done, or it's legalized. What was it, back in 1970 something, I believe?
1971.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think what you're saying as far as the medical research and having to choose either or is a stretch, because before you had the legalization of abortion, people were doing research, and you had, people were living and things like that. I think pretty good long lives. So I kind of have to push back against that. I personally believe that the question is not whether or not research is totally stopped, or research will be prolonged to the extent where if we stopped legalized abortion, we would see a grave difference in the amount of research we get, the amount of drugs, the amount of pharmaceuticals. And quite as it's capped, most of these pharmaceuticals aren't even worth their weight in gold. They're doing this. It's all a money game. It's all a grift to fuel and to line the pockets of these large corporations. So I personally believe that, that argument is kind of weak.
Well, there goes the argument, right? Is it really weak? No.
I think so. I mean, unless you're more so willing to, if you believe in lining the pockets of these pharmaceutical companies, of these research companies, because many argue actually that most of this stuff is not preventative. They're doing this because they understand there's more money in the disease versus the cure. And so, a lot of times we may be better off if they did, at least not maybe stop, but slow down these pharmaceuticals and things like this research, because in the long run, it's all we're not better for it.
Well, give me a conservative group. Name one conservative group that is going to these universities then and trying to and boycotting and protesting. Name the conservative group.
Well, we do.
I agree with you. I agree 100% with you. But name the conservative group.
I think that there is a movement going on right now where conservatives are saying, don't go to college. You know, stop putting your money into these colleges. And you brought up a good point. I mean, it's not necessarily because of the pharmaceuticals and the abortion. People have started to see that they're leftist and Marxist training breeding grounds for our kids.
I
You
agree.
send your kid there and they come out something totally different. So people are starting to push towards trade and things like that. So
But
I would
let's
say that.
if I could interject also, there's a big difference of doing research and actually I have to get rid of this because it's an inconvenience for my life. Okay, it's going to affect my career. Okay, it's going to, I'm not going to be able to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, the comptroller of Maryland is one. She got up on the state legislature floor and said that if she hadn't had an abortion, she couldn't be the X, Y, and Z. She wouldn't have. Okay, the thing is, that to me, and yeah, of course, you know, Ecclesiastes is very clear. There is nothing new under the sun. There is nothing new under the sun. Nothing new under the sun. And that we're going to give an account for everything. But I am also, for me, it's when people do so because I don't want my sin to be found. It wasn't who I wanted to be with long term, got aborted. That to me, that is totally different. I'm an organ donor. If I die in a car accident, it's already there. Please, you go ahead and yes, you know what? Because my body is not going to be here. My body and my organs and all that can be. That is different than saying, I mean, I hate myself so much that I'm going to mutilate myself, cut myself, and I'm going to commit suicide. That is totally different because life and death should not be in the mind of somebody thinking, I got to get rid of. It's not convenient. My career's going to be ruined. You know, didn't plan to be with this guy. Or, you know, hey, that's why I tell my boys and I tell them and I'm training them as young men that they're a gift. Their body is a gift. I think that also it has to do with where you lie in your belief that God created life and life belongs to him. But the research part, like he said, yes, that there, in other words, there's a space there that you can say, of course, how can we progress and how can we advance? Okay. But I'm talking about the one who says, you know what, if I don't get rid of my baby, or if I don't get rid of what is inside, I can't get ahead in life. That to me is a very different person, and only God and that person are going to be having that's going to fall on that person. But I don't think they're taking research. I don't think that person who told us that she had 5 abortions, I don't think she was like, oh, you know, I donated that, you know, for research. She just said, my doctor told me that, you know, hey, the only way that you can do this is just to have another abortion. And I'm on my 5th one. That's total, KJ, in truth, that's something totally different. That is totally different.
It's gone from safe, legal, and rare to, you know, 10 abortions as birth control to born alive, where they're actually, I mean, Tim Walz, his state is making history. They have the most born alive failed abortions over any other state. This man, these people are satanic. Okay, it has gone from, you know, this is no longer. This is all now. They're doing child sacrifice, and somebody pointed out. Someone said in the chat, you know, if they don't get it from abortion, you know they're going to get it from somewhere else. We're looking at it on the beginning of life, but we're soon going to see they're going to start taking people's lives and taking it off the end. So, you know, when you devalue life, whether it's, you know, in the womb Now we see it's outside of the womb because, as I just said, Tim Walz, he believes in abortion beyond birth. So it's going to come a time when they're going to say, "Oh, you sick? Oh, you're what, 70 years old, 65, 70 years old, and you can't run as fast as you used to. You have dementia. Kill him for the parts." This is where we're going. And
it's euthanasia.
Right. But it's going to be beyond that. And you already see it in Europe. They're pushing this idea of, if you're not happy with your life, commit suicide. So we see it. We see this. We're living in a time of the Antichrist, and this is what we see. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chaotic Truth.
Are you guys familiar with and I gotta be very careful because I don't know if YouTube allows this, but are you guys familiar with the drug Herceptin? I think it's Herceptin, if I'm pronouncing it right. Herceptin.
No, I'm not.
All right, so Herceptin is it's a antibody, right, used to treat HER2 breast cancer, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of research with human tissues led to the development of this antibody, right? And it's made major advancements in the treatment of breast cancer, and you can look this up. Improving in the survival rates have increased, right, because of this, right? Now, hear me out for a minute. Just hear me out. Now, I'm not promoting abortion at all. I'm anti-abortion. I had a good friend of mine I knew since I was 18. She died of breast cancer, and it was horrible watching it. She was, I think, 33 or 34 at the time, and she had a daughter who was 8 years old at the time, and she passed away. And it was all of us from college that were there in the hospital. There were a lot of people, man, that would have given anything to keep her alive. Now, here goes the thing about conservatives, right? Are you really willing? Are you really willing to say to somebody on their deathbed or somebody in stage 2 or stage 3, don't take that, because the research to make that is from Planned Parenthood. How many conservatives are really going? I'm about to use some slang here, right? How many conservatives are about that life? Because that's where, forget all that Planned Parenthood and I'm rocking with you guys. We get it. Planned Parenthood is in the inner cities. We get all of that. But that's easy to fight them. That's a soft target. How many people are going to say, no, we're not taking that Herceptin. You don't need that, because that, and mind you, somebody even on their deathbed, you don't need to take that antibody, because that was made through research from aborted fetuses. So all I'm saying here is that conservatives, if we are really about that life, we're going to have to make major sacrifices. Maybe more experiments on animals. That's where we've gotten a lot of our scientific data from, experimentation on animals. But I don't think conservatives are about that life. It's easy to go in front of a Planned Parenthood. Hey, that's bad, with a sign. Oh, yes, But the pharmaceutical companies, that's where the real fight is. And the real fight is, if somebody's actually on that deathbed, we're not taking that. You just got to go ahead to the upper room. So it's a lot of questions about abortion that I've always wondered. Are conservatives really about this life? Because there's a lot of things that we benefit off the very same research, from the very same thing that we protest against. So all I'm saying is that conservatives, man, we are very, I'm not saying you guys are. Mm-hmm. Conservatives can be very hypocritical at times. Very hypocritical. One of my biggest things is I'll sit up on my live stream all day, dogging liberals. But a liberal makes my coffee. A purple head liberal makes my coffee. And it's because I don't want to go into an establishment with a big pot belly, blue collar man. What kind of coffee you want, man? You want a mocha latte? No. So what I'm saying is that there's a lot of things about our symbiotic relationship with the liberals and these people on the left, man. A lot of times we dog them so much, but then those crazy girls at that little conference or whatever, to a degree, we support them. So it's hard. I'm telling you, it is so hard. I love kicking in the backs of liberals, but I also have an objective view of conservatives too. So hopefully I'm not going too far down a rabbit hole. Thank you so much. I'm gonna land the plane there.
And may I add, if someone is in their deathbed, and this is not taking your, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. That doesn't mean that they have one more left. That they're literally on their last breath. I know what you mean when you say that. But I'll be honest with you. If that person is at that stage, there is not a medicine that's going to
help them. Yeah,
it's going to help. But also, no one is really thinking about anyone's life but either their own or their own families. That's how we are, honestly. But no one. But if someone say, and I'm thinking of shampoo. I don't know. I'm thinking that if I knew a shampoo could, give me more, more, my hair would make it grow and all that, and it was made from tissue that it doesn't matter. Tissue, just say tissue, okay? But what is it doing for me? Oh, I'm getting the benefit. I'm getting this, the thing is, we are selfish in that way. We're talking, for me, I should say we, I'm talking about people that deliberately in their mind, like say you and I are talking privately and you were in a relationship with me and I said, look, I just have to be honest with you. I just found out I'm 13 months. I'm not an elephant. I'm sorry. 13 weeks pregnant. And look, I'm not going to keep this baby. And you're like, wait a moment. What about me? What about me? That's a conversation. That's what happens a lot. And to me, how many men, and I know that's a different topic and then we'll wrap it up, but how many men have completely not even had a freaking say, not even a say, and that to me, that's where it's about a conscience.
Right.
It's about a conscience, not how can it help advance, but how can I advance? Because this is an inconvenience. To me, that's a big difference.
And one thing I'll say, and then we have to wrap up. I think we have to understand we are all given an option. There's always a question, an option, a choice. But I think what we really need to ask ourselves is the choice as what we are being presented. Because we know that we're living in, perilous times. We're living in wicked and evil times. And the enemy is the father of lies. So I think we need to understand, are we being presented with the choice, the choice that we have, is that really being presented to us the way it is? Because we know Satan and the enemy is here to lie, to cheat, to steal, to push us to go against God's design and his divine design for our lives, the truth. We know this. And so what he does is he presents things and choices and options to us in a way that makes us think this is the way we have to go, or this is the only choice, or it's a life and death thing like that. When in actuality, many times that's not the case. We can certainly look at the way that we are presented with health and wellness. We're taught and told to take pills. We get headache, we get body aches, things like that. We're taught to the medicine. Look at what they did with the pandemic, what we call scamdemic. They made us think that we were going to die, that we had to stay 6 feet apart from people. We had to take this vaccine, or we were really not going to be able to leave our homes again. Those were the choice, the option that we were presented with, and it was a lie. Satan lies. And so I'm not going to sit here and believe that God has put us in a situation where that is the choice that we have. And if it is the choice, then let thy will be done. Let thy will be done, because we need to, as people of faith, as Bible believers, start to believe in his word and his promise for our lives. You know, and as simple as that. I mean, it's definitely easier said than done. And I certainly understand what you're saying. You provided a unique perspective that I hadn't even thought about. So, I mean, there's truth in what you're saying, but sometimes we have to look at it through the lens of the spirit and say, is this the choice? Is this the option? Or is it something else? Is this what the evil one, Satan, wants me to believe is the option? Or is it actually something else? So on that, we do have to go. We are over at the end of our time. I want to thank you both for joining me tonight. Chaotic Truth, you got to tell people where they can find you and things like that before you go.
At the Chaotic Truth Live, my YouTube channel, again, is the Chaotic Truth Live. I typically go live Monday through Saturday from 10:30 to 5:30. I go live long every day. Sometimes I'll do 7 days a week. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Definitely. We got to have you back on when all the ladies are here.
Absolutely.
We were certainly subdued tonight. So other ladies are much more lively. So definitely it will be a great conversation, discussion. Blanca, anything you want to share with the audience before we go?
Yes, that every child that is supported, whether by an adoption like I was, whether it's by an influencer like Chaotic Truth, or someone like KJ who has this channel, every child can be supported by an influencer that truly can make a difference. And I hope that each of us can find someone that we can water this week.
All right. Absolutely. And I see the comments, people saying you guys got to come back. Definitely. We got to have you back on. Certainly appreciate you guys. Again, this is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people. We understand that there's a target on our backs. We value freedom. We value truth. Certainly appreciate you guys hanging in with us tonight on our Friday Night Live. So we will be back on Monday with full crew of ladies on Monday night at 9 p.m. Also, we'll have Tyrone Keys of Soldiers of Finance here with all his economic and financial information. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.